In one of the more disturbing stories, and it seems like we say this every single day, it can't get any worse, but it does. I am going to grab your baby, don't resist. This is actual audio of California police going into a couple's home and taking their baby from them. Listen.
So I'm gonna grab your baby and don't resist and don't fight me, okay?
I'm going to take your baby, don't resist, and don't fight me. Can you imagine
Wow.
Can you imagine somebody actually saying that to you? I'm going to take your baby, don't resist, and don't fight me, okay?
No, that's not okay.
Your natural instinct is to fight with everything that you have. You are walking into somebody's home. You're walking into their cave. See, this is where natural rights come in. Natural rights come in when you understand the right to protect yourself and your family. When you understand what natural rights really mean, that we are still part of the natural world. Where, I love people who are like, well, we got to take care of all the animals. We got to take care of all. We're an animal. That's what we are. We're an animal, too. We're part of the ecosystem. I don't know if anybody recognizes that, but we're part of this big blue marble. And our natural rights, the natural rights that you have with a bear, the same as the natural rights that you have at home. If somebody comes in and wants to take, even if they want to do good for your little bear cub, your natural response is to fight them. Your natural response is, that is my bear cub. I mean, I hate to go all Mowgli on you, but that's my bear cub. And that you don't take my child away from me. But that's exactly what happened in California. In an amazing story that comes from Sacramento, California, the 5-month-old baby who was seized by authorities in Sacramento, California, going to be transferred to a Bay Area hospital for further medical evaluation. However, the parents are celebrating victory as they can now see their child. They can now see their child whenever they want and will be in charge of the child's medical decisions moving forward. This is one of the most incredible stories I have read. Here's what happened. It's a couple, a Russian couple. How they must love coming here to America. It's a Russian couple that was here, and they were having a problem with their newborn child. And they were in the hospital. And at one point, the nurse comes up and says, I got to give your child some medicine. And the mom says, wait, what are you giving him? And she says, I don't know. I'm just supposed to give him this. What do you mean you don't know what you're giving my child? You're not to give my child any medicine. Well, they find out that it was antibiotics, and the kid wasn't supposed to have antibiotics. So the parents start talking. They say, this hospital is not a good hospital. I don't trust this hospital. The doctors come in, and they say, we're going to have to perform surgery, heart surgery on your child. They don't trust the hospital. They don't trust the doctor, and they say, no, you're not going to do that to my child. Well, the hospital says, no, you're going to have to do that. And they say, we want a second opinion. We want to go to another hospital. They won't let them do it. The child's too sick. And so the parents take the child and leave, and they go to another hospital. So now they're standing at another hospital with another doctor doing an examination on this child, and the doctor writes out and says, this child is fine, there doesn't need to be any of, no surgery, et cetera, et cetera. That's when the police come to the second hospital and say, what are you doing? You couldn't take this child out of the hospital. And they said, no, we brought him to this hospital because we don't trust that one. The police listened to them because the doctor is there saying, no. What the hospital was telling them to do to the child is wrong. So they think it's all over. The next day, they're at home with the child, and here comes a knock on the door. And the Department of Child Protective Services and their SWAT team comes in to this person's house, to this family's house. And that's when this officer says, I'm going to take your child, and you're not going to resist. I'm going to take your child. Listen to that one more time.
So I'm going to grab your baby.
I'm going to grab your baby.
Don't fight me, okay?
No, you're not going to grab my baby. Now, here's a couple that is from Russia. The father said, I thought I was living in the Soviet Union. This is communism. What is this? That baby is held for 5 months. 5 months by the state. This is a newborn for 5 months away from the mother. Can you imagine what mom was feeling inside for 5 months? Well, finally, after 5 months yesterday, a judge says the baby can go back to the parents, and the parents have control. Well, thank you very much. The one word, the key word here is the last one, control. The parents have control. The state is doing everything they can to convince you that they have control over absolutely everything in your life, even your children. This goes back to Melissa Harris Perry. Melissa Harris Perry, when she was on MSNBC, in a promo, not just something that she said out loud, in a promo, she said, you know, we really haven't spent enough money. We haven't spent enough money. We spend more money than anybody else on children's educations. Well, the problem is that we don't have a collective view of our children. And once we shake off this silly notion that you have some sort of private control of your child, we'll start to make the right decisions. No, that's when we'll start making the wrong decisions. Who cares about my child more, the state or me? Get the hell off my land. Get your hands off my child. You also have Common Core doing the same thing. Well, now the teachers' unions, which don't let them try to con you at all. They knew from the very beginning what this was. But the teachers' unions are now starting to say, oh, well, you know what? I think this might be a bad thing for the teachers. Yeah, you think so? You know why? Because the teachers don't have control of their own classroom. You might as well hire a bunch of monkeys to teach our children, because the teachers, why do you need an education? All you have to do is follow this pattern. You teach this, then you teach that, then you teach this, and you teach it in exactly this way. Well, let's just hire monkeys to teach our kids. Why not? Again, Common Core is about control. Control over the teachers, control over you, control over your children. Yesterday, we played some audio. Do we have the audio of the very frank lesbian who is an author? She comes out and she said, you know what, my whole life, since I came out of the closet, my whole life was not to tell lies, and we're telling lies. And let's just be honest about it. And listen to what she said.
I agree. It's a no-brainer that we should have the right to marry. But I also think equally that it's a no-brainer that the institution of marriage should not exist. So,
and that's when the activists applaud.
That causes my brain some trouble. And part of it, why it causes me trouble, is because fighting for gay marriage generally involves lying about what we're going to do with marriage when we get there. You know, because we lie that the institution of marriage is not going to change. And that is a lie. The institution of marriage is going to change, and it should change. And again, I don't think it should exist. I don't like taking part in creating fictions about my life. That's sort of not what I had in mind when I came out 30 years ago. You know, I have 3 kids who have 5 parents, more or less. And I don't see why they shouldn't have 5 parents legally. I don't see why we should choose 2 of those parents and make them into a sanctioned couple.
Stop. You have it. You have it. I don't know why we choose 2 parents. We don't choose. The parents choose. I choose my wife chooses me, and we have a child. That's how it works. We choose. No, she didn't understand why the state would choose 2 people. No, the state has nothing to do with it. Get the state out of rearing our children. Get the state out of our families. Get the state out of our marriages. Get the state. They used to say, I don't want the state in my bedroom. I don't want the state in my garage, my bedroom, my kitchen, my living room, my school room. I don't want them on my front yard, my backyard. I will not eat them, Sam I am. What, have we lost our mind? It's all about control. And that's why we are releasing today a new book that we rushed in. And we tried to make this the quintessential book. The book that tells you everything that is true, that no one else will tell you. We set the record straight once and for all, and we made it cheap. We made it what is it, $8 or $9 now? We made it in paperback so you could put it in your back pocket and you could keep it with you. You could throw it in your briefcase and keep it with you. We made it cheap enough so you could buy a couple of copies so you could give it to somebody else. Because I got news for you, gang. If we cannot defend our Constitution, if we cannot argue with facts the Second Amendment, we lose. We lose. Because they are seizing control. Whether anyone likes to say it or not, that's what they're doing. And they will always say, trust us, trust us, trust us. It's for your own good. They said that to the Indians. Trust us. Give us your guns. We'll take care of you. No, thank you. No, thank you. They said that to Martin Luther King. You know, the price of the book for $8 is worth this one page, if I may. It's the dedication page of the book Control. This will drive them out of their minds. But know that it is true. Dedicated to Martin Luther King Jr., who preached nonviolence but knew that passive resistance could not be relied on for his own family's protection. King owned several guns, but was subjected to the worst kind of gun control and deprived of his basic right to defend himself and his family when police in Alabama denied him a concealed carry permit in 1956. When will we learn? The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This week, I'm giving the keynote at the NRA. And it is probably, we were in a meeting yesterday. I write my speeches the night before or the day of. We've been working on this one for a while because, as you will see on Saturday, if you watch it on the NRA or the Blaze will have it next week for you in its entirety. But we had to collect a few historic artifacts and a few historic articles. And I don't think there is a better week for the NRA in their life. I think that if we all put our heads together and we start learning the truth about guns, we start learning the truth about what has really transpired in our country in the years past, what control and gun control really means all around the world. We're it, gang. This is it. There is no other country on the face of the earth that has the Second Amendment. No other place on the face of the earth recognizes the natural right for you to protect yourself and your children against intruders or an out-of-control government. This is the only one. If we lose the Second Amendment, we lose the First Amendment. We lose the Third, the Fourth, the Fifth, the 15th, the 17th. We lose them all. I'm sorry. No, we will keep the amendment on income tax, I guarantee you. We will keep the amendment that brought us the Federal Reserve, I can guarantee you. And those who have control will pick and choose the winners. Those who have control will do what men have always done. You see, it's not about the president. It's not about anything new. This is about human nature. Men go bad when you give them control, and it happens every time. And so that is why we must retain control, but we must retain that control while remaining in control as well. Control, available in bookstores everywhere, online or in your bookstore. Grab a couple of copies. Get one for yourself and get one for a friend. Control, exposing the truth about guns.